Hello, Davey. How are you doing?
Peter?
How's things?
Not too shabby. Same old.
There's our guest from California just managed to join us. We've been on a wee bit of problem, but we've got plenty of time. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We have got a fantastic night for you tonight. We've swapped guests around a wee bit, actually, but we're going to have first on tonight with us is Ian Lowthian from the Borders in Scotland. Ian is an absolute expert exponent on the accordion, and we're going to have a great chat with him because he's a great lad as well. And in the second half, from Ireland on tour just now in Southern California, we have the legend that is Gerry O'Connor, the fiddle player.
Not to confuse with Gerry O'Connor, the banjo player.
Yeah, not to be confused with. It'd be a good duo, that, wouldn't it?
We tried.
Would you only have to pay one of them? Mm-hmm.
Just one check.
One check. Honest, your check's in the post. There's Brian Forrest saying hi for the Borders and hi Ian. He'll be on in a wee while, Brian. There's Carol Hunter. Do you know that lady?
Not a clue who she is.
I'm sure you do. Well, she knows who you are. She keeps an eye on you. And she does things like you start yawning at 9:30 at night nowadays since the baby came along.
No, it's before that.
Thank you so much for joining us. Well, can we ask you to please hit the share button and share it all about the world and a few other places as well? It's wonderful. What have you been up to, Davey? Anything good?
Anything good.
Any pipe band stuff on the go again yet? Or?
Well, yes and no. As folk might be aware, the pipe band season started today.
Yeah, that's right.
Bankery and Guruk.
Oh, it's Bankery on today as well. All right.
Bankery on today. However, my pipe band are currently, I think they're probably there by now, they're en route to Windsor near London to perform as part of the Platinum Jubilee thing at Windsor Castle this weekend.
Okay.
So that's televised in the UK on ITV on Sunday next week.
Okay.
So record it and watch us instead.
So you're on at that one, are you?
Does it look like it?
How have you managed this? How have you managed this? You're presenting the most famous podcast in the Celtic world.
No, I'm not. No, the band are without me.
Oh, right. Okay.
Because I pulled out of all engagements because of Amy's early arrival.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Well, we had a nice wee weekend last weekend up in Shetland. That was the folk festival. It was a reduced scale folk festival, but an awful lot of nice feedback and an awful lot of people awful glad to have been seeing each other again. It's awful good.
Well, that's it. That's it.
So nice. So hopefully we're on the road.
I heard you didn't do any skinny dipping this year.
No. I didn't. There was whales about actually.
So you did do it?
I didn't. No. There was killer whales about it. That would have, I'm not wanting eaten by a killer whale. Right. Listen, tell me, Stuart Sampson and yourself, you've known each other for a long time now, haven't you?
Since 2020. So, 2020? 2010. Yeah. 2010, yeah.
Brilliant. And Stuart piped at your wedding, didn't he?
He did. If you're going to get somebody to pipe at your wedding, get one of the best components out there.
You can't really do worse than the Queen's Piper playing at your own wedding.
Well, he wasn't Queen's Piper. He was director of Army Bagpipe Music for a number of years at the castle. So he was in charge of doing all the arrangements for the tattoo. Yeah. And he does that for the Basel tattoo in Switzerland now as well.
Fantastic. And he's got a couple of books out.
He does. The first book is called Land of Bens and Glens and Heroes, which is the regimental motto of the Gordon Highlanders. And the second book is the Park Grove Collection, which is named after his house in Blairgowrie.
And did you have a hand in these as well?
I did all of the first book.
Right.
And I did a lot of the tweaks to make it print worthy the second book.
Fantastic.
He did a lot himself. They're
full of good tunes. Great tunes Stuart's come up with, absolutely brilliant ones. And it was interesting, I put a couple online through the week, and a janitor in one of the schools I teach in Shetland, Bob Skinley, noticed Stuart had written these tunes and put a comment on saying, Stuart, for Laudenskirk, remember you used to practice your pipes in the back garden and we used to play football in the park? No. Small world. So here is a couple of Stuart's tunes that I did record through the week, and they're crackers, 6-8 marches. The first one is Cairnwell Pass, and the second one is Aberdeen Asset Management 30th Anniversary March. That's not bad for me, Davey. I've not got this written down. That's quite good. So there we go. Enjoy. Here's a couple of Stuart's tunes to get us going tonight.
Are you paying Stephen?
Yeah, thanks, Stephen. The money's in the post. The money's in the post. I sent him the check. I sent him a check the last time, but I think I spelled Stephen wrong.
The PH isn't right.
No, thanks very much, Stephen. Yeah. My new CD is out, folks. If anybody would like a CD, it's a CD that I've just done all the stuff myself, and I've got it all for one. So that
all by myself.
I'm doing 3 things at once here. I've got Gerry set up in California now, and we'll be with Gerry in about 50 minutes. There we go. So that's cool. I did that secretly in a code, so hopefully he heard me saying that, and then that's cool. That's good. Fine. Right, that's brilliant. Thanks very much to the flexibility of our first. There's Mary Tyndall. Now, it's Mary that was messaging me earlier today. She's in Mexico, but she's met Ian before when he played over in America, I think. So anyway, let's bring on the one. Before
you start the build up, I was just speaking about being flexible. I went to the gym the other day, and I said to them that I want to learn do the splits. Right. I went, yeah, that's fine. And he says, how flexible are you? I said, well, I can't do Tuesdays or Wednesdays.
But
ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Ian Lowthian.
Howdy, everybody.
How are you doing?
Evening, Ian. How are you doing?
Yeah, that's a little cheesy start that I put in there.
Do you know something? Davey's going to want you to go about with him all over the place now and just give him that wee fanfare. That's it. You've just made his week.
Well, you have no idea how many people asked me to teach them how to play that fanfare. It's essential repertoire for accordion players.
And happy birthday. Lots of people.
Happy birthday. And the other one is. And then what's the other one? All these kind of things. I just teach them to the kids, right? Because that's the most important accordion repertoire.
All
the cheesy stuff, you know.
Yeah. As I promised you, ladies and gentlemen, Ian Lowthian, when I put that wee advert out through the week, that Ian's a kind of exponent of every genre and style, and he's just demonstrated about 6 of them in the first 2 minutes there. So that's good. But it's funny, isn't it? I mean, Ian, you've studied accordion classically and everything, but you're right. They're saying that the cheesy stuff for the accordion still comes through, doesn't it?
Well, you can't get rid of it. I mean, the accordion's famous for it. You know, it doesn't matter. I did a classical accordion degree in London way back in the late 80s when it was brand new. I went to study with a guy called Owen Murray, who you might be aware of. But he was campaigning at the time. He was just back from Denmark, where he was like very famous. But he decided he would come back to Scotland. His mum was Chrissy Letham, who some of you might be aware of. And he was going to campaign for the accordion so it would be considered a serious classical music instrument. And he campaigned to get it into the... Why are you laughing?
Yeah, see, he was killing himself laughing there.
Yeah, well...
Serious instrument, come on.
Come on, it can be. Anyway, he went to he went to the RSAMD, as it was called then, and the chap who ran the place said to him, "I don't want you to bring that instrument inside this building." You know, he wouldn't even have an accordion inside the building. So he went down to London and he campaigned, and he was very successful at the Royal Academy in London. So he became the first professor of accordion in Great Britain. So, but now, of course, you go to the conservatoire, as it's now called, and you can do a degree in traditional, like Scottish music, and these are all over the place now. You can study accordion all over the place. In those days, like 100 years ago, when I was studying, there was nowhere. If one hadn't got in, I would have had to go to Denmark to study. But,
well, I remember you when youngsters. Was it two brothers you had that played as well, or one?
Yeah, I had two brothers. Yeah,
two brothers. I mean, I remember way back to the days when the accordion clubs in the borders of Scotland and the three used to turn up and play tunes at Peebles and things. And I remember hearing at the time that you had progressed on and you were going away to study accordion and study a degree. And as you say, that was an exceptionally unusual thing in these days. All the rest of us were just clumping about playing in Scottish dance bands and things like that. And you had disappeared to become this exotic pillar in society that played classical music, and we were all kind of like, wow.
Well, I mean, it's there was a few of us at the time when Owen started in London. There was a guy called Neil Varley. He was the first. He was the very first, and then a year later, Una Bryson, who you might know,
she
was very popular. Yeah, she became the second, the first from Scotland.
Really?
And then a year later, I went down with Morag McFarlane from Cumnock, and we were that was then there was four, and then David Preston, and then there were a few, and went down there to study. And to be honest, I think I was a bit too young when I went. I was 17, and I was landed in London. My dad dropped me off and then just went away, and I was 17. And I had to try and get on, and there's too many other attractions in London, So, I mean, I did. I
Parliament and things like that.
Like what? Sorry.
Like Parliament and Elizabeth Tower and Big Ben. Big Ben buses. Yeah, we know what you meant. Yeah.
And one or two bars, of course, as well. But anyway, I got my degree. I got my degree, but then I left and I came back to Scotland. And the plan was that I would teach people to play the free bass accordion. But I came back and I set up as an accordion teacher, and it was all farmers' kids that wanted to learn, and they're not interested in free bass accordion music. So I ended up it's a disaster because I never played the thing after that. It's a real shame. But my son Robin, after the summer, he's been learning the free bass accordion with Georgie Gadgic, who's the accordion teacher at the Conservatoire for the last, he only took it up about 18 months ago, but he was lucky enough he was at Plockton before. He went to Plockton to do the traditional music thing there for a couple of years, his last 2 years at school. But then he's had a year off and he's been learning to play the free bass, and Georgie accepted him into Glasgow, so he's going there to do the same as me, which I never thought he would do.
The name you mentioned there, Una Bryson, and I haven't heard of Una for many years now. But one thing that strikes out about me to that was when my appendix burst and I was taken into Law Hospital. Una was a nurse in the ward.
Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah. So, she must have been a nurse before she went away and studied the accordion again. She has to.
And could she play an appendix?
Hey, I remember from the competition scene when I was doing the competition. She was always the one that you tried to beat, but there was no beating her. She was amazing.
She was very good.
Just a wee bit older than me, and but I'm not sure why she. I think probably life got in the way. You have to.
Yeah, that's
real life. I think.
Anyway, listen, are you going to give us a wee tune? You've got that box strapped on there.
Well, actually, no. Sorry, Ian.
Oh,
I want to play the first video. I want to hear some classical.
Oh, you're doing that first?
Right, well, I'll tell you.
The accordion.
Right, David. If you're going to do that, I'll just set it up because
yeah.
I've not played the free bass accordion for many years. So what you guys are about to see is a recording that I made when I was a student, which was 30 years ago, more than 30 years ago, 32 years ago. So obviously there's no video. It's just me playing a piece of music by Mozart. which was written for a glass harmonica. And nowadays you hardly see those things. The accordion wasn't around in those days. So we found all this repertoire that was for these obscure instruments like barrel organs. And what they were trying to do at that time, they were trying to invent an instrument that could sustain a note. Because you hit a piano or a piano, it just dies away. A harpsichord, it just goes blink, blink, or a clavichord. So really what they were trying to invent all this time was the accordion. If only the accordion had been around in Mozart's day, he would have written this tune for accordion.
I think it would have totally suited his lifestyle. Just a pure rebel with an accordion.
He would have, yeah.
Great.
So here we go. This is the Adagio for the glass harmonica by some guy called Mozart.
Yeah.
He is. Yeah.
Here we go. There you go.
That's fantastic. I could sit and listen to that all night. That's amazing.
Well, some of that music, Robin's practicing a lot of it just now, so he's already playing some of the stuff that I played in my final recital after 4 years of studying in London. He's just, he's more dedicated than I was.
For those that don't know what a glass harmonica are, this is what it is.
Oh, well done, David. Looks like
you can see how much of an accordion it looks like, yeah.
It looks like some of you drill for oil or something.
Yeah. You still see them in museums, and sometimes there's a few videos of buskers playing them, but
buskers playing them? How do you travel with them? Wheels.
Yeah.
But no, it's fantastic. I wish I could play that kind of stuff. That really is lovely. I love hearing it.
I wish I could play it now, but the days have gone for me. He's lucky he's learning with Georgie now. So
yeah. So obviously you studied that. So you came back to teach, but you were also performing as well.
Yeah.
What kind of stuff? What were you performing at things?
Well, I mean, you guys all know Katrina MacDonald from up your way, Peter. Anyway, so whilst I was in London, it was a bizarre coincidence. When I was in London, there was I stayed in a house, a semi-detached with 6 musicians.
I'm glad you stayed in a house. That's nice.
I stayed in a house, yeah. And then right next door was the other half of the semi-detached. They were all owned by Dr. Palawella. And so he rented out. There were 11 musicians between the 2 houses, staying in the 2 houses. It was noisy. But there was a lass called Myra Sinclair who came over from America to study the flute for a year. She'd done a biology degree, but she came over. And just by coincidence moved into the house next door to me. Well, she is from Shetland. Her dad is from Shetland. And so she knew Katrina MacDonald.
Yeah.
So we dated for a wee while, and we came to Shetland for a holiday to visit her family. And she introduced me to Katrina whilst we were there. So we had a coffee with Katrina. Oh, and then we went to Tammy Anderson's house. And Katrina wasn't there. She had to go and get some messages down the street. And then she came home whilst we were there having a cup of tea with Tammy Anderson. And she'd forgotten to bring something. She'd forgotten the milk or something like that. Well, some argument went on with Tammy Anderson, and it was a shouting match. We were quite embarrassed, but
I don't think Tammy had. I'd never actually met him, but I do believe he was quite strict with him.
Yeah, well, I think he was. Yeah, but I mean, I'm so delighted to have met him. Anyway, what I didn't realise whilst all this was going on was that Katrina was actually in London studying classical singing. Okay. She was doing opera singing at the Royal College. I was at the Royal Academy. She was at the Royal College. So she came.
Just learned something tonight as well. I didn't realise she studied opera singing.
Yeah, she's an opera singer. So the 2 of us, she came round a few times to the house, and we were very antisocial. We just played tunes. Yeah. Anyway, to cut a long story short, she dragged me into the folk music scene. My ambition when I went to London was to come out and come back to Scotland and be an accordion teacher. That was my pure ambition. I hadn't no ambitions for performing or anything, but I got pulled into the folk music scene, and Katrina and I toured around all over the place for 6 or 7 years. It was good. We did a lot of stuff together. So that was
Well, we do have a track of that, the 2 of you playing. And I think we'll play that. And you're sitting there with this accordion, and we're going to get you to play the accordion, don't worry as well. But you're playing it in this one. But I think this is over in the States, is it?
Yeah, and actually, this is just off YouTube. I don't know who took the video, but it's years old. You'll notice that my hair is brown for a start, and it's long. And mostly you'll see I've got a wee earring in here. That's in the days when I was cool. The long hair, sweat bucket, and the earring. And,
is that where
the other thing you notice is that I'm playing the bayan, because which is the big free bass accordion that I played in London, that I studied in London. So it's got, I don't know if you can see it in the video, but it's got button keys here.
Right.
So that's Katrina made me take 2 accordions.
That must have been really handy when you were flying about the States.
Oh, it was a nightmare. It was an absolute nightmare. There was one gig with this accordion that you'll see in the video that when we got to the gig, I hadn't opened it since we got off the plane, and I took it, opened the case, and the left-hand buttons were gone. They were just all inside, and so it just before the gig, I had to take the whole left hand to bit, take out all the rods and lay them out neatly, and then put them all back in the right way, and literally got the gig, got it put back together, and they just announced, ladies and gentlemen, Katrina McDonald and Ian Lowthian. And whew, that was a close one, I'll tell you. Anyway, you can play the video now.
But I think Katrina's playing the Hardanga in this one as well, isn't she?
That's right, yeah.
So
yeah, we went a lot of time.
Very sophisticated stuff here, folks.
That's right, yeah.
Listen to this wee track. This is a lovely wee track. This is great. Yeah. Fantastic.
Hey, you notice there's no close-ups of Ian Lowthian?
Oh,
Do you know what,
yeah,
Ian?
yeah.
I'll be honest with you, if you hadn't told me it was you playing, I thought it was Phil Cunningham. With the hair and the earring.
The earring and the hair.
That was a wee bit biased, that camera work there, wasn't it? It was just...
I think it was, you know. It was like that everywhere we went.
Was it something you said?
I don't know. Anyway,
it almost sounded a wee bit Cajun-y in the middle there as well.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, there was. In fact, well, one of the tours we did in America, we went to West Virginia, and we were booked to play at this camp, Fiddle camp, but it was for Celtic Week. We were booked for Celtic Week, but the week before was Cajun and Creole Week. So we thought, God, it's got to be more fun that week than going to Celtic Week. We're doing that all the time. So we went a week early, and we just sat. We met all these famous Cajun people, Cajun musicians. And there was one guy I met called Daddy Squeeze. He was called Dan Newton, and he plays in Cajun. Yeah, you'll come across some Cajun music. And, Danny the Big Squeeze Newton or something, and we used to sit up all night drinking Budweiser and swapping tunes, and it was quite interesting. By the end of the week, Mrs. McLeod's reel was sounding.
Fantastic. Yeah, brilliant.
But that was good.
For those of you that are interested in hearing Cajun accordion, there's a film called The Dirt Road to Lafayette, which is a Scottish film, and that's a brilliant introduction to the mix of Scottish and Cajun styles.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch that. I turned on one night and it was halfway through. I'm gonna have to find it again.
It's a really good film.
Yeah, you never think of somebody heading off for Scotland to become a famous Cajun box player, do you?
Well, exactly.
A famous? Did you say a famous box player?
Cajun box player.
Well, do you know, there was one thing. Katrina and I played together for about 7 or 8 years, and sadly it came to an end. It came to an end because I wanted to be at home a bit more. There's Leonard. Hi, Leonard. I wanted to be home a bit more, and Katrina couldn't understand, why I didn't want to be. And one of the funniest things I remember from that, the fact that we were no longer playing together, was she said to me, "Do you not want to be famous?" And that I always laugh about that now because I mean, let's face it, who's the most famous accordion player that you know?
Peter Wood.
Thank you, Davey.
Yeah.
Well, I would say probably the most famous has got to be Fiddle, hasn't it, bro?
Aye, that's right. Yeah, so that's his. But it's not like you see him on Strictly Come Dancing, is it?
No.
Oh no, you do. Okay.
Yeah.
I got that.
The closest we came to a folk musician being on that was what's his name? Daniel O'Donnell. Was he not on it once?
Oh man.
So I'm laughing at the thought of becoming a famous.
Oh, no.
That's as famous as it was going to get, is it?
Yeah. This is the most famous show I've been on ever. This is the most famous show in my whole life.
Tell us, there's one very interesting thing there. When David put your website up there, Ian's Music Weekends. Right? Yes. Tell us about that. Tell us the format of this. So if there's anybody interested out there, they can get in touch with you.
Well, if you have a look at the website, you'll get some ideas. But there was a lady in Newcastle many years ago that invited me down to her house to teach a group of people. Tina, her name is, and she got me together. And then once we did it was just a day. She said you should do this at home. So I did. As I sort of started inviting people to the house, and we did, just a weekend of tuition. But it's got bigger and bigger and bigger. And now we've moved into this splendid house that we're in now is the Old Manse in Ettrick Bridge, and it was Janie's family home, and it had a great big room through there that only ever got used on Christmas Day. So So we've utilised this, and now I've got a mailing list of quite a lot of people, and I do maybe 10 or 11 or 12 weekends every year, and they've all got a different theme. So some of them are,
Right.
well, I might do an intermediate accordion weekend or an advanced accordion weekend. I've tried beginners accordion weekends, but I don't get many people on those, so I don't do many of those. But the next one coming up, for example, is Italian tunes.
Okay.
So it's Italian music. We had a Cajun one. We had a Cajun weekend. We've had classical music, Scottish dance band music. You know, they've all got slightly different themes. But I do. We have a Ceilidh weekend in November, and we're so excited. Hopefully this year it's going to go ahead, because we have, and it's all, this one's mixed instruments. I do 2 or 3 mixed instrument weekends throughout the year. I do a summer one, which is like we do a concert on the Sunday. So I send out all the music in advance, and we do a wee concert for the locals. Usually for charity. But the November one, we have a band of about 26 or 27. If I take any more than that, we can't get any more punters in the hall. You know, it's
great.
It's great because there's lots of people out there that play an instrument, but they never get a chance to play as part of a band. So I send out the music in advance, and they learn it if they need to. A lot of them just turn up and sight read, but some of them just they come along and they can play as much or as little of the music as they want. You know, it doesn't matter if they play every one, but they're part of a band, and we're playing for a gig, and the locals just love it here. That's a good one.
So the next one's an Italian one, is it?
Italian tunes, yeah.
So what kind of stuff? What kind of stuff are you going to be playing at that then?
Well,
when the moon hits your eyes,
I like the big pizza pie. That's some more. Yeah, we'll probably do that one. I've got this book here. This is a friend of mine gave me this book to have a look at. Italian favorites with accordion. So we'll probably do some of these. Oh, solo mio. Jenny's brother said he's going to come and sell cornetos.
Right.
But I'll probably do some, some Frosini stuff. Like.
Yeah.
That's Belfiore. So some
fantastic tunes, great melodies.
Some tarantellas, those kind of things.
Yeah.
I think that it was a request. Somebody asked me to do a weekend of Italian music, and so I.
Carol said the weekends are brilliant. She says.
Carol comes to every weekend. She's one of my most loyal customers. She's. I'm hoping that we'll see her back live here, because they've all been on Zoom for the last little while. But I had my first live one last weekend. It was the advanced accordion weekend.
Okay.
We had 3 people that were brave enough to come to the house, and 4 people that joined on Zoom.
Right.
So that was great. But sometimes I can get 13 people in the room through there. So sometimes there's already 10 signed up for the Italian tunes.
Well, that would keep you on your toes, the advanced weekends ones. So that will keep you on your toes.
It does, yeah.
Apparently you can get 3 cornets for £1. There's a brass tax, isn't it?
It's like a special offer. Weekend with Ian Lowthian accordion plus 3 cornets for £1.
Yeah.
Never a band, isn't it?
Yeah.
Listen, Ian, do you fancy giving us a wee tune? Enan, what would you like to play us? What do you fancy?
I'll play a tune. Can you see this little thing I have here? Well, I've got a broken reed on this accordion. And there's a sound that I can't get with the button, so I usually have to press this, and then I pull this. It's attached to a wee thing up here. Anyway, I'll play just means I get this nice sound. I'll play a wee tune. This is a tune called Victoria's Jig. So it's a tune that I wrote for my niece when she was very wee. She's now a bit bigger. She's now 22, I think. Anyway, Victoria's Jig. And sometimes John Douglas used to call me the guy with the weird funny bass, work. And on some of the weekends, we talk about all these different kind of bass patterns. But this is a tune that it kind of sums up a little bit what happens with my bass. I'll tell you a story about Victoria. In this very room, the television used to be over there before we took over the house. And she was in this room when she was before she went to school with her granny. And they were watching one of these DVDs that teaches you all about the alphabet. And so they watched the whole thing, enjoyed the DVD, and then they went through to the kitchen later on. And then Granny decided, I think I'll test her out, see if she's remembered anything from this DVD. So she said, Victoria, can you tell me something that starts with A? And she said, apple. Can you tell me something that starts with B? And she said, book. And she said, can you tell me something that starts with K? She said, cat. Don't worry, I'm not going through the whole alphabet. But then she said, can you tell me something that starts with D? And very enthusiastically, she said, Daddy! Well, Daddy's real name is David, which also starts with D. Yeah, you got it. So she said, I'll test her a bit further. She said, Victoria, can you tell me, what does Mummy call Daddy? Dangerous question, but you know what she said? Grumpy. Anyway, I know you're laughing out there. I just can't hear you. Here's Victoria's jig.
Fantastic, Ian. Superb.
Thank you very
Superb
much.
playing. Ian, that's one of your compositions. You've got books out now as well, haven't you? You've got books of your compositions out.
I have, yes. And
How many have you got out now?
Well, I've not got that many, to be honest, because I'm a bit lazy. But things are happening. I've got this book here.
Tell us.
The Evil Sporran, that was my nickname when I was... How do you do this? There.
The evil sparring. All right, okay.
That was my nickname when I was at music college. They used to call me because I used to phone them up and say, "Are we going for a pint then, boys?" And they would say, "Oh no, it's the evil sparring on the phone again." So, yeah. So that was my first book of tunes. It's got Victoria's jig in it and various other bits and bobs. So you can go to the website and download it as a PDF. That one.
That's what I was going to ask. I was going to ask, can people nip onto the website and get a hold of this stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have many hard copies of it. It's just I've just made it all by myself. But some of you out there might be aware that there's three retired gentlemen from the Borders here, collectively known as Well Road Productions. They've commissioned me over the last 10 years to write some music for these. They're like documentaries. This is the first one here, the Cheviot. I keep getting this wrong. There we are. Cheviot Hills. Well, you know what I'm in the Borders here. And what happens is they have a great interest in the poems of Will H. Ogilvy, and they've commissioned me to write music to underscore their whole film. And the film has a little bits of history about Ogilvy and the Borders and things that happen in the hills for that particular one. And so I
think the Border Reavers come into that somewhere along the line then, do they?
Well, there's lots of mention of the Border Reavers in a lot of these things. But what we're doing now is there were 6 productions altogether. I think there were 7. One at a time. They wanted to publish the tunes that I wrote because the music underscores the whole. It's about an hour and a half on the video. There's 3 scenes, and so it was a lot of music to write. But in amongst it, there was various different tunes. So we've got the first book has come out now, and I'm so excited about it because it's got well, I don't know if you can see this. Here's the front cover.
Yeah,
up like this. Look at that. Isn't that great? Look at that.
Oh, see that?
And if you look
as if you're there.
Aye, that's right. So it's got lots of pictures and the poems. See, the poems are all printed in full.
Oh yeah.
But it's got my tunes in here as well.
Fantastic.
There we are.
And it's got pictures.
Road to Scotland. Look at there. Well, that's that's great. But do you know what I'm most excited about?
It's got pictures. It's got pictures as well.
It's got pictures. You don't have to read it. You can just look at the pictures. Look at this. This is, it took me forever to work out how to do this technology tonight just to get on telly like this. But look at this. See that?
Oh, no.
Look at that.
Aye.
You see? And so what happens here, I've written a wee foreword at the start of this book. And if you click on that, it takes you straight to recordings of me playing all these tunes.
There you go.
On the website. Isn't that great? That's a great thing. So that's the first.
It's good as long as it always takes you to your website and you playing something and not somebody else playing something else.
Oh, right. Can that happen?
No, not really. No. No.
Well, I don't have to put trust in the company that I bought the QR code from.
No, it's brilliant. It's a great.
You bought a QR code?
Yeah. Cost me
free.
£10. What?
They're free, genuinely. It's free. It's open source, so it's completely free.
I paid
don't depress our guest, David.
Sorry.
The next one.
Anyway,
here's the next video.
Tail of Tweed.
Tail of Tweed. So it's all about the tweed. There's going to be 6 altogether, but the books are. I mean, I was so delighted when I got the copy of the book because the quality is fantastic. And it's
you know what? Do you know what, Ian? If you've got another book coming out and need codes, get in touch with Davey because he runs books all the time. He designs books for folks. So.
Is that right?
Aye.
All right, Davey. I'm going to be in touch with you.
He's done all my ones, and you done the tunes in the house one. The tunes in the house one had codes in like that, didn't it?
Yeah. Oh, crikey! I thought I was ahead of the game.
Oh, right. You're doing pretty good. Don't worry.
Doing well, yeah.
Tell us a wee bit about what you're doing job-wise now. There's something I'm very interested reading about in your bio. Was the bit when you talk. Obviously, you're composing, you're writing, you're recording. You write songs as well, I think, don't you?
Oh my God! You know what? When I was when I did my higher music or O grade or whatever it was I did, I forget. Undergrade, I can't remember. It's a while ago. You had to do sight singing. Do you remember? You got given a piece of music and you had to sing the sofa and sight sing. Well, I couldn't. I just, my singing was awful. And my best friend was like an operatic singer. He was like Elliot Goldie. He sang lots of musicals. He was fantastic. And I was just awful at singing. When I did my sight singing in the exam, I said to the examiner, I can't sing. So she said, well, you can make any noise you like as long as you pitch the notes that are on the page. So I whistled, I whistled my way through my exam. I whistled it. It was fine. They let me away with it. I whistled. So those guys would, Elliot and anybody else who knew me at that time would be laughing hysterically if they knew that I was singing now. You know, as part of my job, I go into nurseries and I work a lot with kids that have additional learning needs. Quite severe autistic children and all kinds of kids. And so I have to sing. Which is it's terrible, but
it must be rewarding. I'm interested in the subject as well because my own son's autistic,
right.
And so seeing you talking about that and music's a great thing that you can use. It's a wonderful tool that we can use for ASN, etc.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's I have a wee lad here that comes here. He plays the keyboard. I'll show you something. Here's a wee accordion that I have. This is my second accordion when I was a boy. You can see all these stickers that are on here.
Yeah.
These are called figure notes. And I have software, music software that creates music. I don't think I've got any here, but so the kids can follow this because a lot of them can't read. They don't understand letters, numbers, and things. So they can follow. They can follow this pattern. Yeah. And they just when it's on the page, a triangle becomes a long triangle if it's a long note and a short one. Eventually, if they work away at this, it's a matching exercise in the beginning. But it's I've got a lad called Jordan who comes here and plays the keyboard here, and he's doing like 2-part Bach things, on the keyboard. So it's fantastic. But a lot of the job is silly songs, songs that get them to engage, because a lot of these kids just won't engage. It's been interesting actually recently because I've been doing it all on Zoom. If you go to my YouTube channel, then you'll find me singing a lot of this nonsense. It's you can't shove your granny off a bus and all that kind of nonsense. And some songs that I've written myself, that try and encourage the kids to stimulate the kids into either standing up or sitting down or turning around or just doing something, engaging them in some kind of way. And the accordion is brilliant because it's so visual, isn't it? They love to see it. But only recently I've started going back into the units, and what a difference. The staff are saying it's so much better when I'm there. I mean, but a lot of these kids, they sit and watch music videos the whole time, But when you can personalize it to the kids, you have songs that has their names in it, and it's their turn to get up and dance or something. It's the best work. It's really a great job.
I do a wee bit of that with my work in Shetland in the schools as well, and I thoroughly enjoy it. It's just fantastic. It's really good.
Well, there's no very many songs that have Peter in them, though, Peter.
No, but you can make it fit every so often. But it's good. It's great fun. Ian, listen, I can't believe we're through an hour already. This has been fantastic having you on. It's been an absolute pleasure, in fact, and wonderful to hear all the nice wee things you're up to in the vice and get a wee. Well, you can if you wish. Do you fancy giving us a wee set to finish off tonight? And then we've got another Grace waiting in America after you tonight, so we're having a wonderful night. But Ian Lowthian, ladies and gentlemen, please pop onto Ian's website and check out all the things he's doing, because he's doing some wonderful things with music.
Yes,
and you won't be disappointed. And there we go. Check out his YouTube channel as well that he just made. Is it just Ian Lowthian accordion or something? Is it?
I've no idea what. I think it's just Ian Lowthian.
Okay, right. That's fine.
I mean, I put the videos up there of me singing. Somebody was asking to hear me singing, but the videos are there on YouTube. You can have a look at them there. And
There you go.
I would advise you to have a few drinks before you do it, though. You know, it's quite entertaining if you've had a few drinks, but otherwise they're a bit. They're all in this room, and I'm running around playing my accordion and singing at the same time. It's
Ian, listen, thank you so much for coming on. Give us a wee set of tunes and take care, stay safe, and we'll catch up with you soon sometime, I hope. Be brilliant.
I'll play you a couple of tunes. I'll play you a tune that I was commissioned to write quite recently by Fiona Dalgetty, who runs Fesh Ross. And it was for her husband, who's David Nesbitt, who's from the Borders. He's a fine accordion player from the Borders. He turned 40 the weekend I was teaching at the Fesh. Was that last year? The end of last year. And so she asked me to write this tune for his birthday. But she said he likes D minor, and he liked the tune, one of my tunes called Stomach Steinway Man. So I'm going to put the two together, because Stomach Steinway Man is my #1 hit. All the kids play it. For 20 years, I've listened to kids playing it on the Glockenspiel at the high school. It's haunting me. Anyway, I'll play it. Maybe this will be the last time I have to play it. Oh, thanks, Joe. Yeah, I'd like to get a tune with Colin again. So here's David's. It's called David's Big Birthday. And then I'll play Stomach Steinway. I can't even say it. Stomach Steinway Man. Thanks for listening, everybody. And hopefully we'll see you here at one of our weekends sometime. Hey.
Fantastic. Ian, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much.
You take care.
Oh, no.
And we'll see you soon. Go and have a cup of tea.
Hopefully I'll get invited to Shetland again sometime.
That'd be great. It'd be wonderful to see you. Be great.
Right.
You take care, Ian. Thanks for tonight.
All the best.
Cheers. Wonderful player, eh?
Very much so.
Wonderful attitude to music, actually, when you see the way he looks at the whole thing and you know, making it accessible for everybody and very, very important things, and you know. Right. You got much more to say? I think we're going to get our next guest straight on, because he's waiting and he's a long distance away. He's in Southern California. So let's bring on
California.
Southern California. Bet it's warmer than it is here in Shetland anyway. Let's bring on the one and only, that legend himself, Mr. Gerry O'Connor.
Yeah.
Good morning. Good morning, man. You got me out of bed.
How are you getting on?
I'm doing well, Peter. Hi, Dave. How you getting on, my baby?
What time is it for you?
Here with a friend of mine, Paddy Amulet, down in Pomona, Los Angeles, Southern California. And you know what, lads? It's raining. It's freaking raining.
Wow. Oh, well. That doesn't make me feel so bad.
I'm up to 6 this morning to come down here, and I thought I'd be coming down to glorious sunshine. It never rains in California. You know that song, of course?
Right, you're on tour. You're on tour just now, aren't you?
I am, Peter. I'm on a solo tour with a guitarist, Richard Mandel. He's a great guitarist from originally from the East Coast, living in San Francisco for the last number of years. I met him about 22 years ago when I came out here. I used to get out here way back. We played out here with Jimmy Crowley and Jackie Daly in San Francisco. And before that, I played with Dolores Keane. And my first gig in San Francisco was actually the Great American Music Hall. And it's been all downhill since that.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to talk about that. Your career, you've had an amazing career, and you've played.
This solo tour, I'm here for a month. I'm doing. I got my O1 visa there a few weeks ago, and I'm going to be sick of looking at me over here for the next 3 years. I'm going to be over here all the time. So we're doing 20 days coming down from Seattle, Vashon up there, right down to San Diego on the southern border, as they call it.
Yeah.
20 dates and 8 workshops, 8 teaching workshops as well. So it's good to be working again after 2 years hibernation.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we've got a wee video here. Yourself, Gerry, and Richard playing. We've got one here. So how's about we have a wee tune of that, and then we'll come back and we'll get some chatting done. That'll be fantastic. That'll be great. So if anybody's interested, I'll post the whole tour, by the way, folks, on the Facebook pages and all that later on. And then you'll be able to catch these guys maybe somewhere on the tour. I'm sure they'd be delighted to see you. But here is Gerry and Richard with a set of tunes, and we'll see what happens.
Wow. That was Richard's first concert with me in the Plow and Stars in San Francisco. Great guy to work with. Wonderful guitarist. We're here for months now to come by. We just took a little break and down here just to see a few friends, and we continue down the last 4 days. 5 days will be next week. So we need a break. That's why it's nice to be taking a break and being on live streaming at the same time.
Well, there you go, folks. That first video, there's a cracking example of what you could hear these two guys doing. Quite good the way the video is laid out. If you want to hear the whole set, go and buy a ticket and turn up to see them. That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
I have a tour plan somewhere. Do you have a tour plan, Peter?
Yeah, you sent me one. What I'll do is I'll post the tour plan on our website and on our Facebook pages and that later on.
Yeah.
I'll do that.
Where are we? 8th of May. We have. Pomona, California today.
Yeah.
Oakland Tuesday. Salinas on Wednesday.
Oakland, they're looking for rain in Oakland. They'll have loads of wet tunes on Tuesday night in Oakland and house concert at att.net. Salinas, I don't think it's going to happen. I think we have a COVID incident there.
Oh,
dear. We're going to the Coffee Gallery in Altadena. The Coffee Gallery. They're all Southern California. We're working our way south. We're looking for sunshine. Not much around here, so we'll keep going south.
Keep going, sir.
You land in Mexico.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that. We'll open the bar there called Guadalajara's.
Gerry, tell me.
I did the Cave Santa Monica there, and that's on the Friday night, Friday the 13th. Good day to be in the Cave. That's a fantastic venue. I played there years ago with Dolores Keane and John Faulkner and Jackie Daly. Doc Watson was on the week before us, I think.
Wow.
And then a friend of mine down in San Diego, and he has concerts and workshops, fiddle workshops in Bilbao Park, Archdiocese of Ireland. That's on Saturday. That's on the weekend. So, and then Ventura, we finish in Ventura on the 15th. It's a mixture of small theatres and art centres and all that. Huey House concerts. We were playing a house concert last night, and the guy's house was burned down during the forest fires, and he's rebuilt this amazing house with a steel frame, and it was all pre-drilled. Every hole was drilled in the middle. It was like a Meccano set, and then he literally pulled it all together with these. It's very, very hard to explain. Amazing guy, great guy.
Tell me, Gerry, going right back to the beginning, Ireland. You learning fiddle, was that something you always wanted to do?
That's a good question, Peter. See, in our house, everybody learned to fiddle.
Right.
You cleaned the fire, you brought in the milk bottles, you dressed your bed, and you played the fiddle. Maybe not always in order, but that's what you did. My mother was a fiddle player, and her 4 sisters played fiddle. Wow. And her brother played fiddle. No, one of the aunts, she played accordion, and we never really got our head around that. Sorry, Ian. I should say that with Ian just listening to Hannah. But it was just a fiddle was in the house. My grandfather played the fiddle on my mother's side, and my grandmother played fiddle and concertina. So it was always that. And my mother married a singer, and 2 of the other sisters married accordion players, both accordion players. And the other 3 members of the family didn't marry anybody. They must have run into musicians in the area. But they all played fiddle. So at Christmas time, we'd have a great time sitting around the house and we'd sing songs. They're all great singers. I mean, my aunt died there about a year ago, and we had to clear out the house. And songbooks and music books all over the place. Handwritten, they're not just buying it, they're actually handwritten songs. And that's what they want a house. And they're in the choir, they played popular songs, but it's just so they didn't get much choice. And then my older brother got to fiddle. See, my mother played the Kelly band, and then she couldn't tour much because her mother-in-law wasn't too pushed. She lived in my father's parents' home. But my grandfather on my father's side, he was band leader of a brass and reed band, so he understood he needed to play. So he'd cover and she'd be way off to Mayo or something, the Kelly band coming in at 4 in the morning. And Granny would say, I didn't hear Rose coming in yet. Oh, and Joe would say, I heard her coming in a while ago. She's the washing machine on. She comes from the road after driving down to maybe Clare or to Mayo. And there was no motorways, and they'd play Kelly, 4 hours Kelly, drive home, and she put the washing machine on. And she did that for a number of years until I came along. I was the third child, so she had to stop at that point. But then my eldest brother to Fiddle, and there was a Coates branch starting up in the dog music, and Rory Kennedy came down and approached her, would she teach a class of 30 fiddlers? And she said, no, I've got young kids of my own. I couldn't take on it. So he said, well, you take on a few of my kids and a few other kids. So she started teaching outside the family, and that's the way it went. Our house at this time, from 4 to 6 every day for 4 to 5 years. It was kids being taught in the front room. Now, my mother was, but she learned to teach. She was a seamstress, great cook, and she could do anything. It was a very, very funny story. There was a local arts office where she was saying to my mother, she said, Rose, I find it hard to get jobs done during the day when I'm doing the job. And with kids and all, and she was on her own. And my mother said, you know what I do? She says, I get up early in the morning.
What can you say to that? That's it. Another wee track here, Paddy Keenan.
Oh, Paddy, is he on?
Yeah, we've got this wee track here where you're selling Paddy.
Oh, great. I saw Paddy there lately. We're doing a piping thing on there in Ennis just before I came over, and I didn't get talking to him yet. Paddy and I, we toured Austria together with Eleanor Stanley and John Faulkner and Jackie Daly and the whole gang. It was like the legends of Irish music, but I was thinking we're more like the legends of Irish music at that point.
Right.
Well, this is great. Let's have a wee listen to this. Yeah, brilliant sound.
I haven't seen that one, I don't think. That was done in Austria there about 10 years ago, I believe, yeah. We were on that tour with Hassie. It was great fun. Hassie was a wonderful guy. He's like the Austrian Tourist Board. He keeps bringing you places in Austria that you'd never find on your own. Wonderful man.
Fantastic. You've got a new album out, Gerry, as well, haven't you?
I have a lot of. I have a box of them. Yeah, just came out before COVID, perfect timing, you know. Yeah, I brought in an album just before, I think it was 2019, yeah, just before COVID came out. So it's a new album. It's only 3 year old, but never heard.
Well, yeah, that's right. COVID's got a lot to answer for.
Oh, don't talk. Actually, I didn't find it too bad. I was sort of, the first year I was sort of took it easy enough, getting jobs done that had to be done. I got a stone wall built for the house, and I have a little workshop as well. I repair fiddles and sell fiddles, and I trained as a maker, but I'm hoping having them away on tour for a while. But I did all those sort of things. I did a wee thing, and we hang out myself for half an hour for 12 weeks, and it's just basically put through all the albums that I've made. And actually, I couldn't play all the tunes I hadn't played, but I sort of worked it that way, and then did a few other things for the Arts Council and for the government. I mean, we could be struggling. We're not too bad. I've been more worried about the younger generation of musicians who are sort of getting into the middle of their career and are committed to this game, and mortgages and young families and all. Like, you know, it was tough. It was very tough. I know if you moved out of it altogether, because at least they had an education. You know, they had a degree in something, so they could go back and work in that for a while until things settled down.
Did you find yourself being a maker and repairing fiddles and things like that as well, that you got quite a bit of work because people were maybe getting their instruments set back up again? Or
no, the opposite. No. People weren't motivated. They weren't, especially the orchestras. They weren't playing, and they were probably played a bit at home, but they didn't have any. I just the whole thing. I think it's some work, but I wasn't too worried. I spoke to other makers that said the bow rehearing and things like that, so it just dried up because people weren't. They weren't at performance level, let's say. They weren't
gigging.
Yeah. They were rehearsing and they're doing stuff, but they weren't really. They weren't motivated. I found in general it was tough, you know, and all around it was just a tough time. But I got everything. Yeah, I got the stone wall built and I planted my trees and did jobs like that. You know, it's very important job for musicians. I trees. It's a wee hobby of mine. I grow them. I gather a couple of hundred acorns every year, and I stratify them and sprouting, and then I put them in little cartons, and then I give them away for presents. That's my justification for my air miles. You know, that I can write that off.
So the best place to get the new albums on your website, is that right? Can people get it?
GerryO'Connor.net. Yeah, I got Gerry. We mentioned Gerry Banjo earlier on. We often enough confusion out there. But Gerry and I both recorded solo albums about 12 years ago. We hadn't done anything for different reasons at that point. And Matt Cranage had said, would the two of you play on the Grammy Awards, the Trad Music Awards? So I said, yeah, sure, why not? We get on well. You know, we don't see each other very often, but when we do, there's always good stories about confusions and this and that, you know. I Gerry to learn the first track of my album. I learned the first track of his album. It's easy. We'll keep it easy. We'll be strong, I'm sure. So we did that, and we met, and we rehearsed and did all. And we're playing in front of the cameras and all, and the lights and the monitors and all the sound. And I couldn't wait to get off the stage. I said, Gerry, I got album title we never used as an album. So it would be great if ever we did that. He said, what's that? I said, well, you got Gerry O'Connor here, you got Gerry O'Connor there. You got Stereo O'Connor. Stereo. So I got Gerry to play on the last night's Joy album. I played on that, so we did a sort of a series duet, and then we did the last track. All the musicians on the album, Martin O'Connor played it as well, and they got Gerry to play it at a podcast with this American podcast played by T. John Carrigan, but just Gerry O'Connor.
We're hoping we get them on some night, Davey, aren't we?
We are, yes. I've been in talks with them, just trying to arrange a date. So we tried to get one tonight to have that whole conversation.
Oh my God!
But it wasn't available, unfortunately.
It wasn't available, so we thought it would have been fun.
That is good. Yeah, perfect to talk to them again.
Yeah. I don't know. I see you, Gerry. You're sitting there with the fiddle. Are you wanting to try a live one? Because sometimes it works okay, and sometimes it's a bit funny with the internet. But we can try it if you fancy it.
I'll play it, and if it's not working, just do this, and I'll cut it short, and I'll talk more and play less. Okay?
Yeah.
I think it's Jinx from the new album. Jinx called the Old Dash Tune. That's when I start doing things. Right. These are tunes were played by a fiddle player at home called Peter McCardle. Peter was the resident fiddle player in Marksbar. Marksbar was a very famous bar because it was halfway between Dublin and Belfast. A lot of Belfast musicians came down and a lot of Dublin musicians come up. And you'd also have, because it was halfway and it was a big town, the likes of Dubliners and Planksty and even Tommy Macon lived near the docks. There was always a great bunch of musicians passing through. And Peter was a single man who lived out in the country, and Maeve used to have him arranged and picked up every week to bring him into town, into the pub, and then bring him home. But one night the weather was so bad that Maeve said, "Oh, should let Peter sleep upstairs. He's going home to an empty house." And so he moved in upstairs and he stayed there for the rest of his life. So he had great music in Marksbar all those years. So these are three jigs Peter used to play. So these are on the these are on the Last Night's Joy. Let's push that back a little bit. Just bring that there, distraction. All right, okay. Three jigs.
Brilliant.
Fantastic, sounding great, Gerry.
Did you hear the phone ringing in the background?
Oh, never heard it.
No.
No, you heard it.
The phone stopped ringing. The gigs are rolling.
I absolutely love the way you can play so subtly, but a drive in it as well. It's an absolute talent. Sometimes you hear some players playing and it's drive, but they forget about the subtle points. But you do everything.
If you play as long as I am, you'd be exhausted if you did that all the time. Yeah. I work very hard at making it easy. But seriously, it's management of the music and bow and all that. It's like breathing. People can, I put a lot of thought into it over the years. Like my background actually was method study, work study, industrial engineering. Things like that. Watching repetition and trying to make it. And when I teach the fiddle, I try and teach little patterns of bowing that you'd use. A lot of people teach tunes. I teach tunes also, but I show them where that little pattern is used in the tune and you spread it somewhere else. And that's the way I teach it. It gets adults who come in and try to become, I call it like trying to run with the race horses. And I said, try and run with donkeys, because you learn a lot more by playing slower and playing it over and over. When you think of this music, most musicians had a small repertory. And you'd sit listen to something, you'd hear the same tune over and over again, and you'd learn from them. That's where style came about. Whereas now everybody wants to learn the next new tune, and just more tunes and more, And I hate being sounding like a total reactionary, but it's just less tunes and more music. It's my but I was a dancer as well. I grew up. I was dancing before I went to school, and I danced for years. So to me, it's dance music, and it must sound danceable. And the speed of the bow gives you that little dynamic to lift things up with it. It's just I can play hard all night, but it's just I think it's more fun when you vary it a wee bit as well and make it more interesting. I'm not playing as many sessions as I used to. I played no sessions obviously during COVID, so I've been sort of rethinking my whole way of playing and tuning and just different wee things, just trying to improve myself playing. I mean, I might be getting a tune. When I was about 13 or 14, I was going. And what I was doing, I was playing the tune up and down the bow. Trying to, and it gave me control of the bow that I wouldn't have. My mother said, "That's very good." Now she said, "Play it the right way." But
it's a bit tough having an expert mother in the house, isn't it? When you're trying.
Oh yeah. Oh, you didn't get away with too much. She was great, She took loads of kids over the years, and there was some very funny stories. We took my late wife's brothers and sisters' kids, and most of them enjoyed it and played away. They're all very culturally aware families, Gaelic speakers and all of that. But one of the guys, he just didn't take to it at all. Part of very clever guys, he's done very well, but he even laughed at himself. He said, my mother said to him one day, to their mother, he said, Porrick, I don't think Porrick's going to make it the music. I think you should try Porrick at the art. He wouldn't have hurt him by saying he's useless. But Porrick was nice, you should try Porrick at the art, So kids coming to the house. One girl, she was way back, she came to my mother, she was one of the first students, and she tells the story herself to camera. And she arrived at the door for a lesson. My father was home for some reason. And Margaret was the name. And Margaret, my father was friendly with her father. Margaret, how you getting on? Not so bad, Peter. And then, how much did you get a lot of plays done this week, practice done? I did a wee bit, she says. Oh God, Margaret, you're a good student. You were always a good student. She became a school principal, like our vice principal. You're always a good student. She said, you must have done a bit more than you did. I just, I probably do 3 or 4. Yeah, I read what. How much would you do a day? You do half an hour. I do about half an hour, try dragging it over. And he says, that's amazing. He says, because you left your bow here last week. He just dragged it out over, I think Johnny saw that story about a couple of years ago. That basically was mortified for years with that.
Yeah, it's fantastic sometimes when you're teaching someone. I remember an instance teaching somebody a tune and they wanted to learn music, they told me, and I went back the week later and they played the tune perfectly, but they played it in the wrong key as what the music was, and they'd just gone and got a record or something and listened to it, and played along.
I recorded a tune on this album that I learned in the wrong key. It was
Right.
Sean McGuire, and I learned it in it. I played it in F, but I must have just been listening to an old recording that was running a bit fast because Sean played it in E flat.
Oh, okay.
But after he played it in E flat, and I learned it in F.
Yeah, that happens. There used to be a little accordion player went round the clubs, and he played in all the black notes, a piano accordion player.
Oh, wow.
And he had learnt at home when he was young on the gramophone, and the gramophone was a semitone out. So he played along. So nobody wanted to play with him.
So banjo players.
But Artie Trum, remember Artie Trum, the jazz man, was he a jazz musician, pianist? He learned to play the piano from the old pianolas. They were throwing the pianolas out in the States because they're getting in record players and all that. And he learned to play the piano from these pianolas. But what it was some of these pianos were duets. So he was playing the duet part as well as the lead part.
Yeah.
As a learner. And obviously
amazing. Yeah.
I heard Joe, I was playing with Joe Bonamant, not Joe Bonamant, Tommy Emmanuel. Tommy was I met him we were up here, up the road here. So there was a Bristol, we were playing the Irish Rovers. And he was on the night before us, we were going to hear him play. And he was explaining the way, when he was a kid, he taught himself the guitar and all that, himself and his brother. And they went along for this wee gig somewhere, and the man, for the sound check, the guy says, where's your bass player? For a rock band. Where's your bass player? Oh, he said, I play the bass. Well, where's your rhythm guitar player? Well, I play the rhythm as well. He learned, because he never saw a bass player. He was learning it all off the radio. He never saw a bass, and he thought it was the one instrument. And he learned it like that. And very funny. He was on stage, he was talking about how he played two tunes at one time. And he was breaking it down. They showed us it was a similar enough tune, but we're playing them at the same time together. And he said, he says, are there any guitarists out there? And the boy beside me says, not anymore.
Yeah,
there's different ways of learning. There's so many people coming in different ways.
See, when it came to competition and awards, etc., you were very successful in competition.
I was. Then I stopped. I was as a kid. I suppose as a kid we were all. The only place you'd actually meet other musicians was at flans and competitions and that. And where we were living in Dundalk, there was a small community of musicians, but a very high standards, and we were quite successful for a lot of years. And I suppose that does lead you that you're becoming a little bit competitive here. But I suppose it's just your standards are there. Like I was the age of 8 when I was playing in the under 18 Cayley Band, and we won the All Ireland in 1967. We won it in 68, 69, 70, and then I was moved into junior. I was still underage, But yeah, it was just part of what you did, And I suppose this is before videos and all. The only place you'd ever see 10 fiddlers was at a competition,
Yeah.
And otherwise, you go hear one. But there used to be a thing we said it's called the Fiddler of Oriel, and it got a lot of sort of the quality musicians would play that because there's very good money in it. And so that was a big attraction. And then the flan was obviously important.
Yeah.
It wasn't everything, but we did. I mean, I did compete and won the duets under 18, under 14 with Pat King, who's a professional.
2018, you were given the prestigious Bardic Award. What's that?
Yeah. That was the rodeo. Yeah, it's basically Coatis every year, but wherever the flan is based, to sort of try and honour some of the local talent that has been given back to music for years. And it's 3 or 4 every year. A lot of people are involved. There are people who have given something back. Like I published books and sort of brought the music back from from collections and all that. It was nearly gone of old recordings. So it's nice to get that sort of an honour,
Yeah, absolutely.
A little bit of recognition for your work, and especially older musicians who maybe might not have been very successful in competition or never made an album. It's nice to have it sort of recognized. And that's, it's nice little gestures. I know a lot of people give awards to young musicians, but I think the older achievement is important. People put the years. Like my mother taught the fiddle for 45 years and things like that. And It's nice. Maybe something to reckon. I dedicated to her because she was the one that did all the work, in the area. She taught fiddle. They weren't all successful. Some like the cousin did.
Just when you mentioned Tommy Emmanuel there, of course, Tommy's an amazing guitar player. We have a short clip that we found of you and Tommy playing. I think Tommy invited you to come on stage with him, didn't he?
He did, and I told that story on stage as well about a running guitarist and Denver. I didn't say who it was either. We were sitting outside, and we were staying in this place called Hotel Madonna. It's an amazing hotel. Every room is themed differently. There's a Flintstone room, and it's a cavern. It's huge rocks. It's over. The whole thing's mad. I was staying in a room. It was Cloud 9, and it was like heaven. And I had these chairs like pigs hanging over the bed. Like it was mad. Someone who owned her husband, and he was in the construction, and he built all this for fun, and it was an amazing place. So Tommy was outside practicing. We were on the next night. We were going to go to his concert, and one of the lads said, "Oh, Gerry O'Connor is here. There's a fiddle there." And then he said, "Oh," and then started talking about music and different people and that. And he said, "Do you want to join me for a tune tonight?" I said, "Yeah, sure." So we ran over a few pieces. We did. Yeah, she put it on there. I haven't seen this for a while.
Yeah, here it is. This is amazing. This is great.
Brilliant.
What a buzz. What a buzz.
Yeah, I was going to ask him to come my back there, but I just couldn't afford him,
Some player. No, that must be great fun doing these collaboration things, just especially out of the blue.
That was the arrange that day, and I mean, obviously he'd run over those before summer, but it was good to do. Yeah, and it's good fun. Good fun.
Well, when it came to bands, I mean, what was your first kind of bands you were playing with then?
Well, Katie bands would have been for competitions. We would have been the Dogs Sheeps, the Dogs Killed Tour. What was the Queen Killed in Dalgan would have been the first. I would have been under 18. I was only 8 or 9, and then. But I grew up with that. And then I was in a show called Cajun. The cultist organization decided to put on these cabaret shows around the country, traditional music cabaret shows. It was sort of moving into an area which had been probably developed in probably Scotland before we ever did it. Mm-hmm. So this was started. I was finished. I left school. I went into secondary in 1971, 72, and my first year of summer work was picking fruit, and I was getting 50 pence a week. And then I was asked to join the session, and I was getting £3 a night. I was getting the same money as everybody else in the band, and I was 12, and I was playing along with John Joe Gardner, who's an amazing fiddle player. John Joe would have been a contemporary of Michael Coleman, the great Coleman, whose recordings were made in the 20s. Well, John Joe played with Coleman before Coleman went to America. So I So I played with him for 5. I was in that show for 4 years, and then I didn't go into the 5th year. So it was. My battery's going to go down soon. I'll plug it in. I'll plug it in. Give something else. Yeah. Then we had the first band, and we played Skylark, and Len Graham and Gary Breen, and then Andrew McNamara, and then Andrew couldn't stay in it because of some business. So Martin O'Connor and I started playing together, and the duet, and then Martin joined us at Skylark for a few albums. And running parallel with that, we had my late wife Edna Neolifan. She was singing. We had an album with Eddie Wilkinson called "Cussing on Brogan," and that led into music and song. We were from the area. We're from the Oreo district, and then we had a band then called Law Lugin the Cundalui, the county of Louth. It was a Celtic, pan-Celtic guy named Leiden, Lothian, and Carlisle probably, to our county Louth. And it's interesting. He was lunacy and lunacy and all that ties up together, and the way the creativity was considered nearly magic. So then we had Skylark finished just before Riverdance, and then Lolula died in 1999. So I sort of floated around then for a good while. I sat into various projects, a band in Copenhagen with a good friend of mine, Martin O'Hare. I sat into a band in Belgium with Jerry Murray and the lads. And eventually then we pulled Oriel together with Dula Kennedy and Martin Quinn. And I think that's a bunch of albums here. Yeah, well, there's a lot of been signed to Sony Music. We had Album of the Year in 1996. And on the back of that, signed to Sony Music, and we put an album out licensed to Sony, Senex Square, and then a number of years ago after it died in 1999, I think 2014, 15, we brought out some songs we've been working on with her on her albums. So yeah, it's been quite a mixed bag of
fantastic.
But amazing band that has been around for 50 years. I joined about 10 years ago. I started doing some sessions and then sort of playing with them and then recording with them, and I joined the band up in the shop in Nova Scotia one time. So yeah, different things.
Good.
It's been an interesting. The thing is, I've never been totally on the road all the time. I had a little violin making shop at the kids at the time, and I didn't want to be away a lot. So the solo projects we're doing with the song collection. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Yeah. Would you mind going on to something else? I'll get this plugged in. Would that be all right? Have you something else to show there?
Yeah, what we're going to do, you mentioned Gerry O'Connor, so we're going to play a video of yourself and another Gerry.
Yeah, Gerry.
We'll come back to you.
Yeah, but that was probably the year the album came out. I think that was 2019 or so. It was the Drogheda in County Louth, and that's the year we put this out, I think. Yeah.
Here we go. How about this?
I'll
Magic.
Oh,
Magic.
really good stuff there. I've got about that.
What can I just say a big thank you to Patty, Gerry, because Patty really helped us earlier on.
She's just going to shopping for me. She's going to get me lunch. That's what she's doing.
Well, helped us out with the computer there and everything as well, so it was really brilliant.
Yeah, she's a good friend of mine. She plays hammer dulcimer. She plays Irish music on the hammer dulcimer down here.
Wow. Yeah.
She just classical piano as well. It's been a good friend.
You don't hear dulcimers so much in Scotland now as you used to, but
she said to me she's linked up with the whole group over here based out of Ohio, and there's something like about 10,000 people signed up. Mostly hammer dulcimer and fretted dulcimer. It's a huge community work. It's something we don't have much experience with, in Ireland.
No.
Yeah.
There used to be a guy at home. He used to be up, John. He was up in the north. We played tunes of his on the Skylark albums, and there's a Barry as well around Belfast. He lived in Dublin, but that's the only two I can name off the top of my head. I can't even name them, but that I know in Ireland. It's a beautiful instrument, but I wouldn't fancy having to tune it every day.
No, exactly. Yeah.
I wouldn't like to carry it. I wouldn't like to take it in an airplane either.
You put the to see how much music you can play before the sound check.
Yeah. So what plans for this year? You're in the middle of the tour just now. Is there much stuff coming in for the future?
This tour, we'll finish this tour on the 16th, and then my family have played. My son Donald, he actually produced that clip you saw there. Flat TV. Donald was the flat producer up to flat TV for 5-6 years, and he's been very busy with music, so he won't be with us. We play a family concert on the 22nd in County Louth in Carlingford, and that will be my daughter plays fiddle and sings.
Right.
And Bellamy, he's the film director. He plays guitar and he sings. He plays a little flute. And then son Finian, he's a piper, and he plays the pipes. And myself and my wife now, Sheila, she's a great fiddle player. Her family are all family musicians as well. They're all 6-7 musicians. So we put on a family concert. We did one for Drogheda. We've done the odd. We did one for charity for sudden death, heart disease thing, and we raised a few bob for it. So we don't meet, but we're all playing together. It's just good fun. Play some of the old Lothian material, some of the newer stuff, and it's great. I think the kids enjoy it. Some Western songs, and we had Donald around. His kids sing some Western songs as well. So it's great. It's nice little connection with the whole.
Christmas and New Year in your household must be good fun.
It can be. I got 6 grandchildren and they're fun. They're all singing in Irish and learning a bit of music. And I've been using 2 young kids as well. I have a 9-year-old. He's playing piano with us. And my little girl, she's very funny. She's 5, and she has her first 2 lines of Twinkle 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 Twinkle. What do you call it? Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. And I said, her teacher said to her one day, would Rushy bring the fiddle in with Shock of the Veil? I said, well, should he play 2 lines of Twinkle Twinkle? And she should bring it in, a bit of, because she wasn't told the teacher she was there to fiddle with her daddy during COVID, So I said to her, Rushy, your teacher wants you to bring the fiddle in and play the 4 lines of Twinkle Twinkle, trying to get her to push her on a wee bit, get a bit of practice done. And she says, I'll play 2 lines, it's enough.
Brilliant.
And she gets the same glory for 2 lines as she would for 4. And she knew
I'll
play 2 lines, it's enough.
Yeah,
it's really musicians. Minimal effort.
Well, Gerry, listen, we're through another hour. I can't believe it. And you're going to have to go and get lunch because Patty's making you lunch.
I mentioned Mark's bar there earlier on. Frank McLaughlin, Mark's brother will be over tonight. He lives down here in Suffuse, and his wife she said Frank is missing the dog accent. Hey, when you talk like that, really and then we continue to tour next week and be fun.
Brilliant. Well, wishing you all success. Everybody knows they can jump onto your website now. It's advertised, and we'll put the tour dates up as well. Try and keep them going. and how to in mind try and get a hold of Gerry's new album if you can. That would be wonderful. I thought we'd finish off maybe Gerry. We've got Gerry O'Connor at the Steeple. It's the one from the Steeple Sessions.
Steeple Sessions, yeah, with Brendan Herty and Desi Wilkinson. We did that in Dublin, the Unitarian Church, Stephen's Green. That's it.
Yeah.
Back from the past as well. Yeah. I think I'm around too long, Peter. That's the problem with me.
Was that? Oh no! Listen, it's been absolutely fantastic having you on. Thanks a million. I hope to see you in Shetland. You said it's 30 years since you've been here. That's far too long. We'll have to get you back.
Please, I'd love to get back. I remember Malcolm Green. He was in Dundalk in the pub, and we met, and he said he wanted to come up to Shetland. That was the first time we went up. For Malcolm, not with it. It's that long ago. I was up that year. I think 2 years later, and then
they used to have the band Gaster's Dream. And we were speaking about that the other night with Malcolm Green. It was about that band, yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah. Okay, well, I'll let you go, lads, and it's great to be here. And thanks again. Keep in touch. And I'm on Facebook, and I'll be back over here. I'm teaching in Louisiana in June, and back in Swannanoa in July, and then lots of things, lots of plans.
But okay. Listen, Gerry, we really, really appreciate you giving us your time to come on. Thank you so much.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Gerry.
Take care. Cheers now. Fantastic. What a wonderful guest. Really nice to have him on.
Both of them were fantastic.
Two great guests tonight. Ian Lowthian from the borders of Scotland with the accordion, and Gerry O'Connor
From the borders of California.
From the borders of California. Yeah. Here's Luna to say hello. Hello. I don't know why.
Hello, Luna.
She's arrived. Anyway, so that's been an absolutely fantastic night. Fair enjoyed it. Thanks to Joe Nicholson there. I saw Joe's comment. He said Sunday nights is the best night of the week now since starting tunes come along. Thank you, Joe.
Well, next week.
Yeah, we've got a bit of fun coming, haven't we?
So
I wonder is this the first time this pair's found out about this, I wonder?
Yes, yeah. So generally we don't tell our guests who's on with them because it can change. And this is one of those times where we've not told them who's on. So
sorry, it's Gerry O'Connor phoning me from California.
He can wait. So we have to wait. See what I did there? See what I did? He has to wait. Yeah. We've got Chris Waite, who is a piper and music producer, who works for Grand Studios under name escape me.
Oh, I've lost you there.
Who owns Grand Studio again?
Grand Studio, Angus Lyon.
Angus Lyon, yes. So he works under Angus Lyon. And we have the accordionist, Andrew Waite. Who's Chris's brother. So they're both on next week. That should be
brotherly love.
We'll soon find out.
We'll soon find out. So we've got two brothers on as two different guests. We've never had this before, so this is going to be great fun. So it's the Waite Brothers show next week.
Yes, it'll be a cracking show. I've spoken to Chris this week. He's doing some good piping videos, so that'll be interesting to see, and then see what Andrew's just done an album as well.
Yeah.
So that'll be good to hear some of that.
Really looking forward to it. Ladies and gentlemen, it's past 10 o'clock. Thank you very much. Davey, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you to our guests, Ian and Gerry. It's been magic.
Yes.
And thank you to all you folks for joining in and listening. Thank you. And please keep sharing it about. Take care.
Thank you.
Good night.